So let's start with the first one, data preparation process. So imagine that you have interviewed about 5 participants. But before I even talk about participant tracking, let me give you a little background about the data that we're going to use. So imagine that you are doing a study, and the purpose of this qualitative study is to explore primary healthcare physician experience about the causes and solutions of burnout. And then I have two research questions. One for the causes of burnout. What are the causes of burnout among primary healthcare physicians? And then the second one is about what can be done to reduce burnout among primary healthcare physicians. So the causes and the solutions, right? And this is the demographic information that I've given them P1, P2, P3, P4, P5, their age, gender, years of experience, and ethnicity. So this is the information that you have about your participant. Let me show you one of the transcripts. This is the first participant transcript. So it has the demographics and also the answers to the questions. This is not a lot of information. This is for the purpose of this demonstration, right? So a normal transcript, you have a lot of pages. So these are the questions and the responses. And then what we're going to do is that we're going to make them ready for us to upload. One thing that we have done is that we have given each of them a label. So this one is participant one or P1, as we can see here. So, and then I've removed any identifiable information from here. So I think it's ready for us to upload them into the system. So let me close that and put this one here. So in data preparation, what we're going to do is that we're going to upload the data that I've shown you, right? We may need to also group the data, but it's not required for you to group them. But I'm going to show you how to group your data if you want to. It's also not required to develop document sets, but I'm going to show you how to do that. And then the tab that we're going to use for this is Import tab. So I have my MAXQDA here. So I'm going to open MAXQDA. I double click on the icon and then about to open. So this is what you see when you open MAXQDA. As you can see here, I have the pro version. So, and a single user license. And you see here that I have the PA Philip Edu. This is my ID in the system. If you want to see your existing files or projects, you can look at for it from here. It will show your recent project, but we want to create a new project. So you click on new, and this is what you're going to see. It's going to give you the chance to type the project name. So I will just type Burnout project, and then I look for a place to save. I will save it here. Now I have open MAXQDA. The next one is to upload all my transcripts. The easier way is to drag and drop. So you can just select all your transcripts here. I've selected my transcript and I drag and drop them here, right? Very simple. Sometimes there are more than one way of doing things in MassQDA. The second option is to click on the transcript, right? Text PDF tables, you click on that and then you look for the transcript, right? In this case, I think it's here. Let me look for them. Yes, so I select them, right? And then I click on open. I've already sent it here, so I already have it here. So, and as I said, if you have audio, video, you can always upload if you have images. Any kinds of qualitative data, even survey data, quantitative and qualitative, you'll be able to upload. A website, you have a lot of options. Emails, you can upload emails and analyze them here. So now we have them here, right? So looking at the PowerPoint, we have upload, but we can also group documents. Let me show you how to group. It's not required to group, but let's assume, let's make a little assumption here. Let's say you interview participants and also you did focus group, right? So you can create a file for interview transcript and also another file for focus group. How do you do that? You just bring your cursor here and you see the plus sign. You click on the plus sign and then you click on new document group. You click on that, and then you can even click on it again and then change the name, right? So it says group one, but I'm going to change the name to interviews, right? And I can select all of them and drag and drop them here. You see that? I can create another one for focus groups. Click on the group, second group, focus. See that? Focus group. And then if I have uploaded information about focus group, I can drag and drop them here. Or I can click on the plus sign and then I can import that document. So you see how you can group your transcript, right? We can even group them based on gender. You can group them based on country of origin. You can group them based on ethnicity. You can group them the way that you want, but it's not required for you to group. Because it's not required, I can just delete them because I don't need them, right? I can just delete that. So what I'm gonna do is remove them from this file folder and bring them back to document, and then I can delete interviews. Now I have my transcript. What about sets? So think about sets as temporary groups that you can create, right? And the unique part about set is that a file or a participant can be in more than one set, right? So I can decide that, oh, let me create sets that focus on young physicians, right? And let's assume that participant one and three are young physicians, right? Let's assume that. So I click here, right click, and then I can create new set. And here I will say young physicians. And then I can select and drag and drop. You select and drag and drop, right? So I have two members under this set, right? And as I said, if you don't want the set, you can easily delete the set and it will not affect the data, right, that you have coded. So you can go ahead and delete if you want to. You can click on remove set and then you can remove that, right? But if you remove it from under the document, then you may lose what you have coded. So you see the difference between set and document. For the document, when you have document groups, participant has a chance to be in one group. For sets, if you have two sets, participant can be in two sets or three sets. Participant can be in more than one set. If you are confused, don't worry about it. You may not need to even use sets. So don't worry about it. But the most important thing is that you have uploaded all your transcript into the system. And you see down here, codes. This is where you create containers for your research question. So how do you create containers for your research question? First, let's go back to our research question and see. So I have my two research questions, right? I always advise that when you're doing your coding, you have to code based on your research question. Sometimes you may not have your research question, you may have objective, you can code based on objectives, but I don't recommend you coding based on your interview questions. Your interview questions are questions that you ask participants. After asking participants, you don't need interview questions as a way of coding your data, right? But you need your research question to go through the data and identify information that is significant in code. Imagine you are coding by your interview questions, then you're going to have a lot of themes to present. Let's say you have 10 interview questions and you have themes under each of the research questions. It's going to be overwhelming. So it's very important for you to code based on your research question. Now, when you see here, as you can see here, I have two research questions. One is for the causes and one is for the solution. So first, what I will do is I will label my research question. I will say maybe RQ1, right? And then I will say burnout causes, right? Then I'm going to label this one. It doesn't have to be a perfect label, but a label that will remind you of the research question. So RQ2, I'll type burnout solutions, right? And you can even write in a different ways. Some you can even say, you can even label it as, let me show you. We have many ways of labeling. Let me go here. You can label it as burnout causes, and in parentheses, you can say RQ1. right? You can label it in any way that you want. The most important is that these labels will remind you of the research question. Now that you have labeled your research question, you go back here, you see this icon, you click on that, and then this one shows up, right? So this window is asking you about the name of the code. The name of the code here is because we just want to create containers for the research question, right? We can bring this one here and type here, Burnout courses. Or we can even make it this way. Press RQ1, right? Burnout courses. As I say, you can arrange in any way that you want. You can give it a color if you want. I don't normally do that. Maybe let me try this time and give it this color, right? And then you see the place that says code memo. Think about code memo is an additional information that you want to write about this code. What does this code represent? Normally, you can describe it, or maybe you can say this code represent a research question, this and this and that. Or you can just copy and paste the research question there, right? Just to remind you that this is representing your research question one, right? Then you click OK. So when you do that, the code comes here, right? Or the container that you create for the research question comes here. You're going to do the same thing for research question two. So you go here, you click on new code, and then this time you're going to bring burnout solutions here. And then you can put the research question two in parentheses. As I said, you can bring the research question two parentheses in front or at the back. Then you choose the color, maybe green. As I said, it's not required to choose the color. And then you bring your research question here. So this one is the research question two, and you click on OK. Now you have containers for your research question. You see the set here? It comes here again. The same principle. You can create a set, right? Or a group of codes here, right? You could create a group of code, a temporary one that will have a list of codes there or themes that you can explore further, right? Just think about this. Sometimes, let's say you are using a granite theory, right? The first stage that you want to do is to address a research question. And maybe the second stage is to select the themes or the codes that you can use to develop a theory. You can use sets to select some of the codes or themes, right, that you can use to explore further. As I said, it's not required to use this one. So if it's confusing for you, you don't have to use it, right? And if you want me to do a video about only sets, let me know. I'll be happy to present about that. But I just want this process to be very simple. I'm only focusing on the functions that will be useful as a beginner to finish your analysis. Now, hoping that you are following me, right? If you have any question, put in the comment section and I'll be happy to address them for you. And don't forget to subscribe, right? So now we have brought all our document here, right? We have created containers for the research question.